All right, so today's notes are going to be on history basics. So you need to make sure that you go ahead, you open up your booklet. It should be about page 10, I think. So, first, our EQ for today, right? That question that I want you to be able to answer at the end of today's lesson is, how does history help us understand society? So, how does history help us understand what is going on with different groups of people? And I know down here, this is a weird standard. You haven't seen an I yet. That's an inquiry standard. That means that you guys are going to analyze some things at the end of this lesson that is going to have to do with primary and secondary sources. Okay. So, first, we're going to talk about what is the history lens, right? We've been talking about, first we talked about the cultural, right, behavioral science lens. Then we talked about geography, the geographical lens. Now we're going to talk about a history lens. So, first, what is history? It is the study of the past. Remember, those bold, underlined, highlighted words are the ones that you either need to fill in the blank and then highlight, or you might just highlight. Some things that are looked at or things that we might analyze would be different sources of bias. Remember, bias was one of those vocab words that we had at the beginning last week, right? Bias is something that a person holds within themselves. It's a liking or a strong dislike that makes it so they cannot be fair. Okay, we also might analyze patterns. We might look at cause and effect, right? We're going to talk about cause and effect a lot this year. Global issues, things that are happening all around the world, and turning points. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up that Unit 2 and Unit 3 are talking about all of the major turning points that have happened in world history, well, modern world history. If you need to pause it so you can fill in your blanks, go ahead and make sure you pause it. So, what are some questions we might ask when we are using our historical lens to look at social studies? Well, we're going to ask, what happened? What are the basic facts? When did it happen, right? It's going to change how we perceive things if it happened 10 years ago versus 200 years ago. Why did it happen, right? The important, the cause. And how did things change, right? What happened after? That's the effects, right? One of those things that was on that list on the previous slide was cause and effect. One of the most important things, what did we learn from it, right? That's how moving forward, we become better people, we do better things. And then what caused it, right? That kind of goes into what happened. There's a little bit of a difference between basic why did it happen, right? The initial cause, hey, oh, someone got mad, versus the underlying causes of, hey, maybe there's some social issues going on, some social injustice, or there's an imbalance of power that caused that person to get upset and causes the bigger events to happen. So, you have a question. Why is it important for us to study the past events and people? I want you to take a minute. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and pause the video. Take a moment to go ahead and answer this. All right, we study past events and people to learn what was effective and ineffective to help us make better informed decisions as we move forward, right? If you don't have that word for word, that is a-okay. If you need to copy it down, pause it. But basically what this is saying, we study the past to see what worked and what didn't work. So that moving forward, we can make better decisions. We can make better choices. Doesn't mean it's always going to be perfect, but moving forward, we're going to try to be better. So, we got to do some vocab and talk about sources. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here, and that part's going to be in another video that will be linked below. Make sure you get that top part done.